Welcome to Magical Memories Unlocked, your guide to events that truly rock. From tips on planning and entertainment to will help you make your dream event come true. Now without delay, let's dive into your guide to event success today.
All right, welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Magical Memories Unlocked, your guide to event success. This is our entertainer deep dive. Today we have Rich Potter, the official brother of Harry Potter. I just found out, just to so you all know. We'll get into that story. That's a joke. Rich is a fabulous circus performer. I've known Rich for a while now. I've had the pleasure to work with Rich, and I have to admit he is absolutely amazing. Just as a person, as a performer, super easy to work with, super amazing to be around. So I've been talking to you a little bit. Rich, would you like to introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do?
I don't know. I go to shows sometimes there. I am an entertainer. Yeah, meet people at parties. So what do you do? I usually slow roll it as I'm a juggler, stilt walker, comedian, et cetera, unicyclist, wire walker. And then down the list, I add in the word clown. Now, in my mind,
Hmm.
clown is at the top of the list, but when I sell myself, it's usually at the bottom because you have preconceived notions, etc.
Hmm. I
So
mean,
I'm a funny
you know
guy.
what, you just kind of
Here.
started. Yeah, you tipped me, but you started me off at this idea. What is all that stuff? You mentioned all these different things. Why? First of all, why do you give yourself as the top of the list as a clown? And can you kind of describe what the difference between what you do and what the preconceived notion of a clown is?
Uh, well, it's like the definition of pornography. I know it when I see it. Uh, clown is I mean, it's an ancient art form, goes back pretty much with all the other ancient art forms like music and dance and all, pretty much it's a manner of self-expression. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, and I can get way into the weeds on this. I like to nerd out on the topic, but uh,
Hmm.
as
That's
far
what
as
we're here
what,
for. Nobody knows it like you do.
well, I'll give you the Cliff's notes, and you can see how much you want to delve.
Sounds
So
good.
I I mean, for me, like I see a lot of people who wear a clown costume and they go to a gig and they're there to do a task. They get hired to do a task. People say, "Oh, you're a clown. You must twist balloons." I don't twist balloons. I I perform
Mm.
entertaining uh and entertaining situations. I
Hacks. Hmm.
engage with the people directly. Try to find what the situation is going on here and now. Often, like I need to find some way to break the ice to become, like not just like hammer my way into someone's conversation, but to like find a
Hmm.
reason to start talking to people. And often it's in the form
Hmm.
of a quick sight gag or a juggling trick, or sometimes it's a magic trick or whatever, so there's, I mean, there's the strolling aspect and also there's the stage aspect. And where I feel like I
Hmm.
excel more is just getting up on stage and, doing the thing. And again, with stepping on stage, you need an excuse to get on stage. And that's um, why I present as a juggler. It's like, okay, he's here to do tricks. And more I'm trying to like
Hmm.
transition into he's going to do funny things. Oh, he can juggle too. But because I, in
Hmm.
my own estimation, because of the Dunning-Kruger effect, I'm past the peak of Mount Stupid, and I know how much I don't know. So the layperson thinks I'm an
Hmm.
amazing juggler, but I know what amazing jugglers do, and
Hmm.
I'm not them. So I would rather
Interesting.
uh, I would rather step on stage with people asking themselves, "What's he going to do?" And I do some things, and
Hmm.
then, "Oh wow, he juggles too," as a bonus, rather than it's the expectation through the whole thing.
Hmm. Interesting. That's interesting. So, that really that's a a fascinating perspective on it. I like to to see that is that you're coming in there and you wanna set the bar low and then well exceed what they're expecting. So
Exactly.
I
Keep the
like
bar
that.
low.
But that means you're not presenting your highest potential. But I think maybe that's a fascinating approach to it. Now, so I mean, we talked about that. Now, what is in your definition a clown? Is a clown like red nose, big wig, facial and face makeup, like the classic cliche look, or what does that mean to you as a performer?
I'm getting triggered by your question. Um,
I'm sorry.
no,
I'm trying to give a, I'm trying
no,
to open up the conversation to the
you're doing
wider
fine.
audience here.
You're doing fine.
Because people don't
Uh,
know. At the end of the day, the LA person doesn't know what that means.
absolutely. No, that's a great place to start. I mean, what you're describing is basically the Western tradition, kind of born in Europe, grown up in the U.S. or the American style of circus clown is different from the European style, but they share common roots. Um,
Mm,
and the short answer of what is a clown and how can I define it, all I can say is every time I think I have a definition, I find something that fits the mold that did not fit my definition. So
uh,
on the surface, it goes back to like the trickster spirit of like pagan rituals or pagan um, pre-Christian, pre-Western um, civilizations. There's always some character that is the opposer, the one who does things the opposite of what you would expect. And sometimes it's Coyote, the trickster. Sometimes it's
mm, mhm, mhm,
like Loki in Norse mythology. It's
mhm,
in some way it's Pan. It's a character who it's not just an opposer, but someone who's um, like overwhelmed by their id with very little
mhm,
governing counterbalance. Someone who like, I want
mhm,
that, I'm going to do that, and damn the consequences. And this is, one of the loveliest expressions of the clown spirit is, do you know the marshmallow experiment? Do you know what I'm talking about?
mm,
So you take a kid into a room, you put a plate in front of them, sit them at a table,
mm,
put a
mhm, mhm,
marshmallow
mhm,
on the table, and you say, you can have the marshmallow now, or if you wait 5 minutes and don't eat it, you get two marshmallows. And then you leave the room and film
mhm.
them for 5 minutes. And it's just the longing and the knowing that there's a greater reward if I just don't give in to temptation now. And the full range of
Yeah.
emotion goes across their faces. And this is a beautiful like illustration of what clown is. It's like you want to do this
Mm.
thing, you can't do this thing, but you can't help yourself. And then horrible things happen. It is all self-inflicted.
That's fun. Yeah. So everybody kind of gets to you're the butt of your own, or you're the butt of your own making. You're the one that creates the situation, and then you're the punchline to it with how you're acting. Is that a good interpretation of it?
Yeah, and again, like that's one interpretation. That's kind of one modality I use, and there's
Hmm.
many other that don't fit in tight neatly into a simple definition.
Sure. What's interesting? I know you mentioned so many different things you do in the beginning of this, and I didn't realize you do wire walking. So that's really fascinating to hear that you have that as in your skill sets as well. But one thing I kind of wanted you to talk about is which I guess kind of I don't want to say that I don't know if it falls into the clown aspect of it, but mime work I know you do as well. Yeah, okay, just want to make sure. Yeah. Can you tell people what is that? I don't think people understand quite what a mime is slash does and their capabilities. Can you kind of just tell people if someone's like I've never heard of a mime, and you have to really kind of give them a picture in their head, what would it be for an event, or specifically for
Well,
an event?
oh, for an event, okay. Because
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
going to start out with mime is a lot easier for me to define than clown because I know less about mime.
yeah. Okay.
But but so there's a big crossover between mime and clown. I do use mime when I
hmm
clown, even when I'm talking.
hmm
Um,
hmm hmm
it's just a matter of using the physical body to indicate an invisible universe.
Hmm. That's really cool. So how does
Yeah.
that work into in an event environment? Like, say if someone's like, I think a lot of people like the concept of a clown, and whether they're doing, a French style event, and that obviously plays into that theme a little bit. What if they're thinking about a mime at an event? What should they really expect that experience to be like?
Well, I mean, it depends on whether they're hiring a mime to do a performance, like on a stage,
hmm
or
hmm hmm
and generally, mimes are hired for like strolling entertainment, and
hmm
um, that's interactive. You just the mime, if they're experienced, they can kind of create a universe. Yeah, create a universe, create a reason to interact with people, and that doesn't make them uncomfortable. Because there's this guy painted in, guy or girl, painted in
hmm
white, and they're just walking up to you, making faces and doing things, and it's like there's a nuance to like kind of reading people's like reaction, making them comfortable with what's going on.
hmm
Um,
hmm
and I mean, I always just it's like approaching a strange animal, like a dog or a cat. It's like they don't know you, and it's like, are you going to pet them or eat them? And it
hmm
goes into
Yeah.
the amygdala. It's like, should I? This could go either way, and it's like, no, no, it's cool. I'm
Yeah.
back here. You want to engage, we can engage. And then it's just
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, I don't know, like a simple handshake can become a bit, or you you hand someone something, and they'll hold on to it, and it's a nothing, and then through exploration you discover the person holding the whatever discovers what they're actually holding, and it's just an invitation to
Ah.
play.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. I like that phrase, an invitation to play, because I think that's the kind of the core idea here is as a walk around roaming performer. That's really what your goal is to invite people to play with you and help to encourage that behavior. Am I kind of understanding that right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of my teachers said that children don't really need clowns, and old people don't really need clowns because they're already ready to play. Children, it's
Mm-hmm.
just their natural state. And when you get old enough, it's like, I don't care about anything else. I don't care what people think of me. I'm going to have fun. And like, it's the people
Mm-hmm.
from like early adulthood all the way through till they're too old to give any craps anymore. That's when we take ourselves the most seriously, and that's when we need to
Mm-hmm.
be reminded that the play is available to us, and that's we're as clowns and mimes and whatever, we are catalysts to play.
I love that. Yeah, and it's true. That's a very true statement. So
Yeah.
I think you really got me into another thought process here. Our thought pattern, I should say, is where do you see the skills that you offer and present best suited? I think a lot of people think children's entertainment. We want to have you for a kids party, but you kind of just said that, kids naturally are in this phase of play and enjoyment and stuff. So I'm sure they enjoy what you do, but where do you think your skills fit best? I think that's a loaded question too.
It is. I mean, I've always seen myself kind of as a generalist, and put me in front of an audience, and I'll make it work.
hmm
But I do find uh, when I perform for all children, like I try never to talk down to children. I want to
hmm
bring them up to my level. But
hmm
there is a tendency. It's like they don't get multiple levels. They see things very much on a base level. It's like around age 9 or 10, they start understanding sarcasm, and it's like a mixed bag.
hmm
And it's like all 9-year-olds. Some of them get it, some of them don't.
hmm
Then 10-year-olds, and more of them get it, and it progresses from there. But like I say, before 8 or 9 years old, it's like you hold up a nothing and say, "Hey, look, it's a something." They'll say, "No, it's not. I can see it's a nothing." I'm holding an orange. That's not an orange. Well, let's pretend. And it's like,
Yeah.
So I feel like what I do best is for like families when the kids are sitting with their adults and they're enjoying it together as a family.
Hmm.
I think there's because then the kids have cues from the adults. It's like, oh, there's something I'm not getting, and then they'll lean into it rather than like a mass of like 406-year-olds screaming at you. That's not right. And then it takes you
Yeah,
5 minutes to settle them down so you can get to the next bit of fun. It's like, okay, you can scream for a while, but you're getting less.
they're
Uh,
having fun. Isn't that the important part?
they are having fun, but it's like there's more fun. It just like, okay, you had fun. Let's move on.
Yeah, there's
Stop
more
having
fun
fun
to
on
be had.
this. There's more. Um, but yeah, I mean, and one of my joys is doing my full clown shows, which I tour with fringe festivals.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just got into Edmonton Fringe Festival, which is I think is the third largest in the world.
That's
So
amazing.
it's not Edinburgh,
Congratulations.
but it begins with ED.
It counts. It counts. It's
Yeah, yeah.
close.
Sort of. But yeah, so I'm like I'm in the process of I want to do a dry run in New York City before you're invited.
Thank
Before I go to
you.
Edmonton, I want to get things up and ready in New York City before I hit the big time.
Hmm. That's
So
yeah, well, I look forward to seeing that. That sounds exciting. I
yeah.
mean, can you dive into that a little bit? What is the difference between what you do for a fringe festival versus what you I mean I have an idea, but what's kind of the difference in the experience that somebody would have going to see you at a family event versus a fringe festival?
Well, I mean, family event. I mean, it's hard to book God the one man show in for someone's living room. So.
Gotcha.
Um, I mean, if someone wants to hire me for it, great. But it can work in small spaces. But so when I do a fringe festival, I have a sound and light board for some
Mm.
effects. There, it's kind of usually it's
Are you
I mean,
utilizing the same skills?
yeah, I mean, what I do is I have a bucket full of skills, and when I'm creating,
Mm.
devising, whatever, I look into the bucket. What do I got? Do I have to learn something? Do I have to build
Mm.
something? But it's like
Mm.
it's just like a plumber shows up to fix your sink, and he has a big box, and
Mm.
that's I have a big box. It's full of
Mm.
things I've learned. You know,
Mm. Mm.
and then a bunch of props, of course. But I try to keep my props low because I live in a Brooklyn apartment. So like I'm working on simplifying and I've written since moving to New York City, I've written about 45 minutes of just like stuff that'll fit in a lunchbox.
Mm. Wow,
But
that's amazing.
yeah, it's clown stuff. It's hard to sell to like the living room moms and pops, want someone for their 6-year-old. It's not that kind of
Mm.
stuff. It's more nightclub sort of. And also, I don't work burlesque, so like to work a nightclub, I work clean. And like
Mm.
if you work a burlesque stage, they're looking for something a little more spicy.
Raunchy, spicy. That's a good
Yeah.
word.
So like yeah, I work well for adults, but I don't work spicy.
That's good. I mean, that's what there's a lot of people that want that. They're you have,
Uh-huh.
your corporate clients, different kind of things like that, where they want a clean feel and look, but something that hits to the adult crowd. So it's really good that
Right.
that you have material that hits in that way. And I know I'm curious. You've mentioned you're a generalist, but do you have something that you particularly enjoy doing more than others?
I mean, what I enjoy doing is devising, but that's a good question.
Creating.
I mean, juggling is easy. I can do it without thinking. So I walk on stage and instantly it's like, oh, okay, he's got skills.
Mhm.
But I mean, there's one piece that I've really started really enjoying. Started doing it about 15 years ago, and then I did it a few times then, and just pulled it back out recently in New York. And I enter the stage with a cardboard box, and I pull out a piece of celery, and that's about 8 minutes long.
Okay.
And I love I love the journey of like having the box, and uh, I'm the only one who knows what's in the box, and now you do, and now all your listeners do. But yeah, it's I mean, even people who have seen it before, it's like they just the process of getting on stage, setting the box down, bringing the audience in, to the experience, and they don't know what the experience is, but they know that something amazing is going to happen. And I pull up this ding dang stalk of celery. Uh, I don't know how blue I could use my language should be on your podcast. Um,
I don't know. I mean, it is a family audience. I don't know if
all right, so yeah,
keep
I'll
it your
stick with ding
normal
dang.
performance level. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah, but yeah, it's like what all this for a piece of celery, and there's something sublime. For me, there's something sublime about that, and I think many of my audiences have agreed.
That's so much fun. You know what I love is I love how you I can see it in your face, the energy that comes through that event and that experience, not just for the guests, but for you as well, how you can have that. So that's really cool to see. Thinking on your performance wise, are there any performances that really do resonate with you that you'd like to share with us? Any
You
of your
mean stuff
shows
I've
that you've
done,
done in particular?
or stuff I've seen?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, stuff that you've done, experiences that you've had, events that you've done that really like resonate with you.
I mean, some of my biggest accomplishments have been working with partners when I was still in Washington, D.C., and we wrote two
Mhm.
shows together. Um, One was Shakespeare, and the other was Clown Noir. We were three gangsters,
Okay.
uh, and we spent an hour trying to steal a piggy bank. And
That's amazing.
it's yeah, it starts with a jailbreak, and we get back to the hideout, and we find my teddy bear. I'm the leader of the gangsters because I'm like six
Uh-huh.
foot three, and they're 5'5", so we have three funny looking characters already. So
Mhm.
that that's one of my opus socies, opus I. What's the plural of opus? Oh, magnum opuses. Um, but
I'll go
yeah,
with
as far
that.
as um, yeah, and then as I mentioned, God, the one man show. That's the first time soup to nuts I've written like a completely original, like hour
Hmm.
plus, like that's more clown and comedy based than it is skill based. I mean, there's magic in it, there's
Mm-hmm.
juggling, and a couple of stunts, and then some poignancy and philosophy and that sort of crap as well. Um, yeah, and it's like I know you're asking about the gig world, and it's like I am a gig worker. I
Mm-hmm.
um what really feeds my passion is the more theatrical stuff, but I try to bring that into my stage show for events. But
Mm-hmm.
it's again it's uh just it's easy to just show up and give them the expected, here's this trick, here's this trick. Hey, let's spin some plates. Okay, ta-da. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
fitting that stuff into this stuff. I'm like I said, I'm transitioning. I'm trying to find more ways to fit that in, but a lot of clients, they just kind of want what's familiar, and they don't want to take chances on something that's a little more wild.
Mm-hmm.
In my experience, the calls I'm getting, I don't know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you as an agent might be more connected to that sort of thing.
Well, I've always said it's interesting that you brought that up. I've always had the opinion that there is the right tool for the right job, right? That the classic line that there's the right performer for the right fit client. And I think
Uh-huh.
sometimes people it's knowing the right people and knowing the right things. And this part of the conversation here is I really I have a passion for getting to know the performers that I work with, so that way I know what the right fit is for that performer and I know what the right client is for that performer. So I love that you're bringing this up because it's there is absolutely needs for stuff like that, but you never know that until you talk to somebody and get to know what that is. So for the clients that are listening, they might be like, wow, that really sounds like a great fit for my, company's whatever event, or, whatever it might be. Because I don't think everybody wants just this classic, show me what you can do, look what I can do kind of a show, because it's cool to see, but it's not as it doesn't resonate as well, or as you say, not as well, but as long term. I feel like the stuff that's more theatrical, it makes you think. It gives you an emotional connection, a more visceral reaction to something versus just, oh, that was cool kind of a feel. And that's the stuff that
Right.
sticks with you for long term. So
Mhm.
I love that you brought that up, and I think that's really cool stuff. Um, I mean, I'd like to dive into kind of the events world and what you do for that, and how you do that kind of stuff, just so that way people kind of have a better understanding. So if you're talking about gig world, doing events, doing shows, can you kind of tell me? You mentioned a little bit about show length and stuff. What is the ideal show length for somebody like yourself to do a show for like a family audience, let's say?
Well, how long did they need me to fill? I typically I typically shoot for like 45, but sometimes they want a 30. And if if they ask for an
Mm-hmm.
hour, I usually tell them I can do it, but I'm not sure your guests want to sit through it. So,
Mm-hmm. That's
and
fair.
it's like, and I feel those things out. It's like I can do 45 if it's going well, and you have nothing scheduled after. I might go a little long, but
Mm.
generally, what I sell is a 45. Um,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
but yeah,
And what
sometimes
would
sometimes they want 15, 20, and that's fine with me. I get home earlier.
That's very true. Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, what would that look like though? What would you have in that show? Is it primarily juggling, or what kind of skill sets are you usually
Yeah.
including in a show like that?
I mean, like I've said, I market myself as a juggler, specifically a comedy juggler, with which absolves me from being a good juggler. Um, and I just saying that for 40 years, and like I've seen so many excellent, excellent jugglers who are also wickedly funny. So I may have to
Mm.
retire the line, but I'm old school, so I'm holding on to it because I'm a dinosaur. Um, but yeah, I walk in, I do a little bit of just crowd work. I do. I give them a choice if they want to see a hat trick or a magic trick, and then whatever they choose, I do both. You know what? Uh, then I just I do a little club juggling with physical comedy mixed in. Um,
Mhm.
I bumble at first to lower the bar, and then when I actually do something cool, it's like, wow, he's not just an idiot. He's an idiot with skills. And then some audience stuff, do various props. I mean, I do Diablo, I do spitting plates, I do cigar boxes. I get on the unicycle towards the end. Um,
Mhm.
is
Mm.
and just peppering in comedy along the way. Some of it's silent to music. Some of it's more. I've gotten more into silent just because with children, if you're trying to talk, you have to settle them down, and with music, you can just play
Mhm.
through, and they get what they get, and I mean they get
Mhm.
something, but it's like I think they get more because you don't have to settle them down to go to the next bit. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
but
Mhm.
with adults, I have the luxury of talking more and connecting in that way, like on multiple levels that way.
Mhm. It's interesting. I mean, I think you mentioned music wise, but I think there's another factor to that as well. Is it's not just not just kids and not just being able to push through, but like that transcends different languages and different cultural things as well. Because then you don't have to worry about if they don't speak the language per se, you're still able to connect with them, which I think is kind of a cool aspect of that. Can you talk? I mean, I know you've traveled a bunch, and I know you've traveled with different circuses and performed in different areas. Can you talk about working in different cultural environments and how that changes how you perform?
Um, well, what changes is when it's brought to my attention that I've made some horrible transgression, and sometimes
That's fair.
I discover that after I've really put my foot in it a few times. Um, but no, I when I was traveling more, like I did a lot of street shows in like Asia and Europe and
Hmm.
Canada. Uh, just after a while, you just start to kind of vibe into what's going on. As far as horrifying transgressions, I'm sure I've done a few here and there, but uh, like you kind of like as and also like the majority of that travel was done like early in my career when I was still younger and dumber. And now I've built like the sensitivity of like what is it? Experience is the thing that allows you to recognize a mistake when you make it again.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've made enough mistakes over my 40 years. It's like I've learned that sensitivity of like sit back and let's play this out, but let the other person lead and kind of I mean, I'm bringing something to the table, but like I'm saying with a strange dog or cat, you don't want to just stick your hand to their face. You want to like feel them out and see if they're picking up what you're giving, or do you need to throw a couple breadcrumbs down for them to come to you or whatever. And when traveling, I think I automatically learned some of that and automatically missed some other bits of that. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Europe is pretty similar to America. We're spawned from that region mostly,
Mm-hmm.
except for some uglier parts of our history. Um, but in Asia, yeah, it was just a I don't know. They wanted to see the white devil just do some whatever he was going to do. Like
American.
I'm saying, hey everyone, you want to look at me anyway? Come look at me, and I'll do some stuff.
uh,
So that was I was just a freak of nature, and I could do tricks. And my Japanese was good enough to do a simple show. My
mm,
Chinese was I spoke mostly in English, and every now and then threw in a Chinese word, and they'd laugh just because I have a horrible accent. When I was in Thailand and Hong Kong, I spoke Mandarin, but they speak Cantonese.
mm,
They're similar enough. It's like Italian and Spanish, with like
mm-hmm.
similar languages, but they're different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, language wise, I think in Asia, the only one I really did well in was Japanese, and the others were just kind of kludging. Like I know 5 words in Thai, I know 10 words in Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of got me through.
Mm-hmm.
Culturally, I don't know. I'm sure I missed a lot of opportunities and probably missed a lot of opportunities to offend people as well. So on the balance, I probably did okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know if we didn't really talk about how did you get into doing this in the first place?
Well, there's two origin stories. One is I was taught juggling by my best friend in ninth grade who he could juggle and I couldn't,
Mm.
and so I had to learn. And he taught me, but then I went home and learned three ball juggling. Came back the next day. He's like, "Yeah, but can you throw one under your leg?" I'm like, "Oh!" So I went back, learned that, and then we just kept one upping each other. He was always one step ahead of me, and I had to catch up. And then we became frenemies, and I went off and joined the circus. And he, after high school, he was washing dishes. So revenge. Um, we're friends
Uh,
now.
yeah.
Um, but the other origin story is I'm the youngest of four kids. I just wanted to be heard and always needed more attention. So
It's probably one. They're probably could coincide a bit, you know.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
and there's your assistant right there.
yeah. My assistant, my overlord.
I love
This
that.
is this is
So,
Ninja.
that's
Ninja weighs 25 pounds. We also call him sumo.
oh, jeez. That's your workout right there,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
lifting. That's funny. So I mean, starting from your origin to now, can you kind of, I mean, obviously there's a very big difference between, you as a child and you as an adult, but like, can you talk about how you're from when you started performing more professionally to now, how that transition of what you do and how you do it can be happened a little bit?
Um, well, again, we're talking about decades, but
Yeah.
briefly, I so with this friend slash frenemy, we did a couple of high school like homecoming parades together.
Oh, okay.
And he brought the makeup. I'm like, what do you do here? And I look like garbage. Um, and I had no material. I didn't know what worked in front of a crowd, but I'm funny, so this should work, and it didn't work. Uh, Fast forward to, let's see, we used to sneak into the Renaissance Festival in Maryland,
Hmm.
and we just got to act stupid all day, and every now and then someone would th throw us a couple of quarters. Um, then the frenemy stage began, and I continued with the Renaissance Fair, and uh, I just played street characters for some time, just because I was a teenager and therefore cheap, and they didn't mind me being a warm body to hold up a costume.
Hmm.
And then I went to college for a year. In the meantime, I did a couple of little events, nothing. Yeah, an eye towards working the street, and also an eye towards joining the circus. So I lived in Baltimore. I did like two or three street shows the year I was in college in Baltimore. And one day I cut classes to go to the Ringling Brothers Clown College auditions,
Hmm.
and I that came in. The audition came and went. I sent in my application. I'm like, well, can't bank on that. It's a what one in 100 people get in. Like they at the time they were boasting they had thousands of applications and only 50 get in per year, so it's more competitive than Harvard.
Ah.
And so I got together with a juggling partner. We put together a show to tour Renaissance fairs. Again, we were teenagers and idiots, so we were very cheap. So we got into places because they're like, oh, well, can't go wrong. Well, yes, you can't go wrong with real cheap, but we got some sea legs under us and got an actual show, and
Uh-huh.
we got laughs. We were doing okay. There a lot we did wrong, but we did enough right.
Hmm.
Um, and in the middle of that summer, he got accepted into clown college,
Hmm.
and I didn't.
Hmm.
And I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna continue doing this without him. And then I was, and I ended up going home to Maryland. I was in New York at New York Renaissance Fair.
Hmm.
Came back to Maryland, and like 3 days into that, and this is the day before answering machines, at least before my family got an answering machine.
Hmm.
The phone was still attached to the wall. It was a rotary phone. And my parents had gotten this phone, I think, at Army surplus because my dad was in the military,
Hmm.
yeah, back in World War II era,
Hmm.
um, but he was connected to military jobs. But so the ding-a-ling-a-ling, like an actual analog bell rings, and it's noon, and I'm still in bed, and I'm like, whatever. My mom knocks on my door, and I was like, yeah, what? Oh, and I thought, oh, it's another army recruiter because like they were sniffing around. They probably found out that I dropped out of college or I didn't re-enroll, and this had been a number of calls I've been getting along the way, and I'm like, why is she getting me out of bed for an army recruiter? And probably she wanted me out of the house. Pick up the phone and uh, hi, Rich. This is Steve Smith. I'm the director of Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Clown College. I'm like, and so that brought me down to Venice, Florida for a 3 month training course, boot camp for clowns, they call it. It's now defunct as of 1997. The school was open for 30 years. I got in on the 19th class. Um, at the end of it, out of 5,000 apply, 50 get in, and then 10 get contracts. And so most of us all of us were hoping, but few of us really expected to get a contract. And I didn't know if I would or not. And like they were bringing people upstairs to sign their contracts, and I'm looking around the room. I'm like, oh, I'm one of those people. You kind of have a sense of who definitely isn't and who definitely is. And I was
Hmm.
looking around the room. Well, I was the last person asked up, and they're like,
Hmm.
I mean, hell yeah, do you want to? Sure. Um, and so that after my first year with the circus, touring the States, I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. I'm not happy here. And then they said, "Well, you want to go to Japan?" I'm like, "I'll do that." And so we had a 2 year Japan tour, and so I did
Wow.
that for a couple of years. That's where I learned Japanese, and then I met a Japanese girl. Long story short, uh, I ended up in Japan, but not with her. Um, and so I was working the street there, and that just kind of started me traveling around. It's kind of I I did like 25 countries in 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Um,
That's
and
amazing.
that was Asia and Europe. And then yeah, in the mid 90s, I came back to the US and met a girl here. I'm married to her now, so I guess that was worth it. Um, and I've just been doing various like gig work. I worked as a hospital clown.
Hmm.
I worked the street in Baltimore for 30 years. I got a technical job for 1 day a week. It was a perfect situation. It's like as long as I did my work, I could mark down 8 hours, and it was just enough. It was like it was about probably what I would get. That 1 day was about what I would get for like being on unemployment or on food
Mm.
stamps or whatever. So everything else was a bonus. And so, and then in 2019, my wife said, "Hey, I'm moving to New York. Are you coming?" I was like, "Yes, dear." And so so we got here just in time to watch the global pandemic at its epicenter.
Yeah.
I got
Right.
to ride down 8th Avenue on my bicycle with no traffic, right in the middle of 8th Avenue. It's awesome.
That is fascinating. Man. Wow, that is an incredible story, an incredible, evolution. I mean, first of all, I would love to can you just you kind of dove into a lot of what Ringling Brothers Clown College was. I just kind of can you guys just give everybody like a zoom out a little bit for everybody that's now like, hey, you're gonna go to clown college. It was a real thing. That's like it was an actual thing at one point in time. Can you kind of just hold like from the bird's eye view, looking down, saying this is what it is and how it kind of worked, just to give everybody an idea of what that meant.
Um, okay, so in 1960, when I say 68,
Hmm.
um, the Ringling Brothers, uh, the Ringling Brothers still owned the circus, but it was kind of languishing. It was heading downhill. It was not what it had been.
Hmm.
And there was a concert promoter, Irvin Feld, who, among other things, he promoted like the Beatles when they came into the DC area.
Hmm.
Um, he just decided he wanted to make a purchase of Ringling Brothers, and there's some that's long story how that came about. But when he purchased the circus, he looked at the show and he said, "Well, business model. Why don't we take the brand and split it into two complete circuses?"
Hmm.
And he bought a European circus, the Circus Williams, Gunther Gable Williams, if you know that name, a
Hmm.
famous animal trainer. He was like the head of that circus, and actually they just wanted him. He said, "I can't leave these people. You buy the whole circus, or you don't get me." So that's
Hmm.
how like we got the second unit of the show. That was kind of the main mast of the ship. Um, and so we had two, the idea was two complete circuses, a red unit and a blue unit. But
Hmm.
then he looked at the clowns and there were 13 clowns left, and the youngest one was 56 years old.
Oh, wow.
And so it was a dying art form. Now,
Hmm.
the dying art form is modern American style three ring circus clown. And there are
Hmm.
many, many other styles of clown out there, but this is specifically the three ring circus style, which is American, pretty uniquely American. Um, but there were only 13 people still doing it for Ringling Brothers. And so, in order to pass the baton, pass the torch from the old guard to the new guard, we had to find the new guard. And
Hmm.
so they opened up a clown college, and there were some fits and starts getting it started in 1968. Yeah, and so they had one director, and then they immediately the next year they changed it. It started out as 8 weeks, The next director, he held on to the title for like 8 years, and then there was another guy, then another guy, then and it lasted for 30 years. It Towards the end, there were a bunch of hurricanes down in Florida. Venice, Florida was where the Ringling Brothers' winter quarters, the headquarters were, and that's
Mm-hmm.
where Clown College could happen because most of the year there were no, the circus was on tour. So
Mm-hmm.
winter quarters is December, Clown College ends in November.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but a bunch of hurricanes kind of blew down the building, which used to be an airport hangar that they built a circus into, or an airplane hangar. Um, because of the damage, they moved it up to Baraboo for a few years, and then the final year was in Sarasota Opera House in
Mm-hmm.
Sarasota, Florida. But so that's kind of the history of it. What happens inside is probably your next question. I'll save you the trouble. Um, Morning warm-ups. The morning is 3 sessions. There's 3 rings, so 1/3 of each group goes to each ring, and then we swap out. We would learn like clown techniques like slaps and falls, getting hit with a board, falling down, the runaround splits, ladder falls, chair falls, just nuts and bolts sort of stuff like this. Um, Improv, arena choreography. Arena choreography is how to take this body and project its energy to the lady in the uh, third level balcony in the back wearing like Coke bottle glasses with blue hair. She needs to understand what you're saying just as much as the people in the front row. And so it's how to project your body up to those people, which is what three ring circus clown needs is like very big, broad, and simple expressions, which and like once I left the circus, I had to take this and bring it down because I was like, you doing a street show for 200 versus an arena show for 20,000.
Mm-hmm.
This suddenly seems very false, and so you have to like find the natural, like something that's more relatable when you're working
Mm-hmm.
closer up with people. And I've it took me a while to scale that back, and then I found myself able to entertain, a kid hooked up to tubes in a hospital room, and you can't blast your energy at that kid who's like,
Mm-hmm.
"What's this person in my room for?" You know. But yeah,
Yeah.
and of course, fundamental to hospital clown is permission. It's like the kids are in the hospital, and their autonomy is taken away. We need to just shove this tube into you. I don't want to. Too bad. And so the
Mm-hmm.
clowns come in, and it's like, is it already we come in? No, okay, we'll see you later.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's building these rapports. Like for one-on-one, you yeah, you just that's what I was talking about earlier. Is you look for the complicity, the permission to enter into someone else's world before you just say, "Here I am."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no choice.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. I love hearing about this because, like I said, I don't think anybody. I honestly, I know a little bit about it just from conversations I've had with different people, but I didn't know the nuance and the complex how actually complex it is to have done through that program and how much you learned through that program. So that's really cool.
Oh,
Can, yeah.
that's just the morning.
Oh boy! All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
How
I
does
mean,
the
I
rest of
mean,
this day look?
so we learned mime, we learned character development because we're all kids. We don't know who we are yet, and we have to learn what our clown is. You can't know who your clown is if you don't know who you are. Prop building, all the skills, juggling, stilt walking, et cetera, et cetera. Costume making. Yeah, like we learned to sew, to make our own costumes. I still use
Oh
all
wow.
these skills now. So it's like soup to nuts. How to build your own show, really.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, you can. I guess you don't have to learn set dressing or the tech board or any of that stuff. But as far as like soup to nuts, is like if you need to build an act, you can build an act without outside help.
Hmm.
We did have a prop shop, and one of the guys working for him, he when he wasn't working at Clown College, he was working for Jim Henson.
Oh wow,
So
that's amazing.
so we had top people
Yeah.
at Clown College. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, how much we were able to absorb in in 3 months is when you're 19 years old, it's like you're a sponge, but you can only absorb so much in 14-hour days.
Yeah.
So I did have I'm gonna go grab my water.
Okay.
Yep. So here, look at the cat. Be right back.
Well, Jenna, as he goes off there, I just want to remind everybody, if you're enjoying this conversation, make sure you're sharing it. Make sure you're passing it on to your friends and family. This is the deep dive into actually what real clowning and clown college and all the other stuff. So this is a perfect opportunity to learn about it and share it with your friends. Back to the back
So I
to
leave the room, you're talking about me?
it. That clown, that
Oh,
clown over there.
oh, yeah. Oh, you called me a clown? You called me a clown?
Good. So you talked about clown. I would love to also hear about actually touring as on the circus. I'm sure people have no idea what that entails, means, feels like, the life of it. Um,
I'm listening.
I'm just curious, what is it like to be touring with a circus?
Well, uh, I preface this by saying, um, like there was the old guard 19 years before me. The old guard, the youngest person was 56.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the people going through clown college are just out of high school or just out of college. Most
Okay.
just out of high school. Uh, so so it's a bunch of 19, 20, 22-year-olds living on a train, all on the same car, in little roomettes. The roomette was it was this wide, so it was like elbow to elbow, which is about 4-ish feet. Um, by 8 feet by 5 foot 11. And the reason that I know it's 5 foot 11 is because I'm 6 foot 2, and um, I measured it to see just how much I was being shortchanged, and so and I'm a back sleeper. So if I had to learn how to sleep on my side or fetal or whatever, just so I wouldn't compress my spine down to 5 foot 11.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
but so yeah, on the train. Um, Yeah, there's I think room for 16 roomettes, but we need space for a kitchen and a couple of sinks and a couple of Donikers Circus for toilet. Um the There's a couple of fridges, and if you don't put a lock on the fridge, then Max would come and eat your food when you're not looking. Um yeah, I don't know if he's listening to this, but yeah, Mad Max Daniels, he's a stuntman in Hollywood now, but back then
uh,
he would eat your food. Um, that's one of the tamer things he would do. Uh, but okay, so yeah, going from city to city, you're like the Ringling Brothers tour was at the time. It's a two units that cross the country, kind of counterbalance to each other. A
mhm,
fresh new show travels the big cities around the coasts and across the top and bottom.
mhm,
And the second year of the tour, they do the internal, like the flyover states, which is funny because we're all on trains the whole way. You get to see America as on your day off, you're on the train, you just watch America go by, and
mhm.
yokels in the middle of nowhere, they're just waving at the train. It's like I'm important. Like I'm part of this that they find special. Like
Yeah.
and there's something magical about that. How like there's this mystique and romanticism about the circus, and I'm part of this, and I'm rolling in horse shit every It's
It's
like
fine.
yeah, for months after my friend, one of my friends, after I left the tour, she said, "Yeah, it took a while for that tiger pee smell to leave your jacket." So yes, it's glamorous, but it's like that old joke. I won't go through it, but the punchline is what and leave show business.
Yeah.
You know that joke.
I
You
don't know
don't?
that, Joe. I
Oh,
do not.
spoilers. Okay. Basically, old guy goes to a bar. Bartender serves him a drink, and the old guy is just kind of muttering under his breath. And what's wrong? Oh, I work for this circus, and they all day long I have to sweep up after the animals. Oh, elbow deep in the stuff all day long. I can't get the smell out of my. And at the end of the day, like I lie down on my bunk, crammed in with three other people, and just the smell from them emanates too, and it's just horrible. And the guy says, "Well, why didn't?" The bartender says, "Why didn't you leave?" And he says, "What? And leave show business?" So
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
classic joke. Sorry, I thought everyone knew it, especially in our world. But now your listeners know it.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
going to bleep out my naughty word, right?
yeah, exactly. What it is. I always say I'm circus adjacent. I am, even though I do still walk, and I know, I'm a magician, but I am not a circus. Even though I've officially now toured with a circus, so I technically am a circus ish. But I
Okay.
always say I'm circus adjacent. I always say circus adjacent. That's fine. I'm okay with
Yeah.
that.
And here's the thing. For the longest time, I would say magic and circus. You're primarily a magician, yeah?
Yes, yeah. I started off
But
as
magic and
magic at
circus,
like 8.
like that. I start out my show by doing a magic trick and then saying, and just so you know, I just lied to all of you. It's impossible to do magic without lying to an audience. If a magician ever tells you they're not lying to you, they're lying to you. That's why I like circus. What you see is what you get. Everything you see here is real. And then that's kind of the
Yeah,
opening to my show.
yeah,
And but then I went to a Chinese circus a few years ago, and one of the headliners was a magician, and it was
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
So again, just like clown is like when I think I have it defined, something breaks that definition, and here you are. So sure, I mean, you probably don't self-identify as circus, and most
no.
circus people would not, but you are circus adjacent. I would accept that.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's interesting that you bring that up because I actually tell clients that when they're looking to book a magician for certain age groups, I tell them, I said, you're probably better off getting like a circus performer because magicians are their job, although I don't believe in this necessarily as much, but your job is to trick the audience. And at a certain age, even if you can do it and do it effectively, it doesn't land as well as something where you're showing skill, where there's no I know how that's done. It's more wow, I can't believe he just did that.
A lot of kids go, I can do that, and they Dunning-Kruger. But you touched on something. What was it? The kids. It was a good point too. Hopefully, it'll circle back.
Sure.
Mm,
Yeah, that trust me, that happens to me all the time.
yeah,
You
the
also,
old timers
sorry
disease.
about. We were talking about circus adjacent type of stuff was also I think I also realized that when it comes to circus is really most variety skilled performers fall into the circus category in general because like I see in like Italian circuses now they have like bubble performers they making giant bubbles and doing things with
Mm.
that and I never would thought that was like a circus skill but it's like a big part of some circuses now so there's certain like things like that I think is really cool that I think it's really cool that circus in general is like just this category of all different kinds of fun people. So I think that's a really cool aspect of it. But anyway, so we talked about traveling with circus. We talked about that. At what point, and you mentioned that you're like, I didn't, you didn't really vibe with the traveling as much. At what point did you realize, or did you just kind of do events and you're like, I kind of like this kind of thing? What was there a particular event that you did or moment in time that was a decision that you transitioned into doing more of the show experiences, like formal shows of
Well,
yourself?
well, I mean, for me, one of the reasons I left the circus is because in the circus I was one of 200, well,
Mm-hmm.
100, people, and the crowd was massive. It's like 10,000, 20,000 people watching.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's a laugh, I don't know if it's for me or someone over there, or with the band going, I couldn't hear whether there was laughter at all sometimes. So it was
Mm-hmm.
like I was going through the motions, but I felt like um, I wasn't getting the feedback, like I wasn't vibing with the
Mm-hmm.
feedback. So I was kind of in some ways it was draining. And so I wanted to go work the streets where like it's one of me, and if there's a laugh, I know it's for me, and if there's no laugh, I also know that's for me. Um,
Hmm.
and so it's just more comfortable to me to get all the attention for myself. Um, and
You get the direct response and the feedback, and the I like to say you get the energy of the audience more directly. Not necessarily as well for yourself.
right, right.
It's feeding off the energy.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's ideally it's a with especially with clown, but I think with any live entertainment, there's like
Hmm.
you feel there's like yeah there's a push and pull. It's like
Hmm.
you feel the energy of the audience, and you emphasize something or you de-emphasize something based on what's going on here and now, and
Hmm.
you can't just like say this is the way I do it and blow through. You got to kind of
Hmm.
be in when I'm teaching kids. I they want to know about Friday and it's only Tuesday, and I'm like, be here now. There's things to learn here and now. You can worry about later.
Hmm.
And it's you teach best that what you need to learn yourself, and I need to it- I also need to learn to be here and now, and it's just just like Michelangelo said at age 82, I'm still learning.
You know what? That is a very true statement. I think anybody that thinks they've learned everything has learned nothing. I
Hmm.
think you know that I am a firm believer in every day. You know, you're learning. You should be learning every day. So, and
Hmm.
honestly, you are learning, even if you don't realize you're learning. You are. So, I think that's a lesson. Um, so we've talked a lot about your history and how you got into here. We talked a little bit about the event stuff and different kind of formalities of it. I always like to ask, what is a common mistake that clients who are booking circus entertainment make when, just generally things that they don't necessarily realize that you ask for something and it's a misunderstanding, misconception. Like as a performer, is there common mistakes that you've noticed?
Oh, well, I've never met a client that did anything wrong. I love all my clients equally.
Good commercial.
I know where my bread is buttered.
Yeah.
Um, no, I mean it's the little stuff for me. It's and I try to put this in my contracts. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, can I pull up to the stage? Where do I park?
Hmm.
Um, is there a dressing room? One of the big pet peeves of me and most of the people I know, I don't want to change in a bathroom stall. My wardrobe, I don't want to be walking around your event with clothing that might have been dropped on a bathroom floor where other people have sprinkled.
Hmm. That's fair.
Uh,
That's a fair point.
yeah. So like find me a room that's my room where I can change.
Hmm.
Even if ideally it's like it's got a lock or I can like I can leave stuff and no one else has access to it, but I understand, not every
Hmm.
situation is like that, but there's some place that's mine for 20 minutes before the event and maybe
Hmm.
20 minutes after the event.
Hmm.
And, let me know if people are going to be there so I can pack everything up.
Hmm. That's a dressing room. That's actually, I mean, that's a really good one. And I don't think people necessarily realize that, you even change to get, to transition. What you carry in with is not necessarily how you're going to be performing in. So that's, I think, an important one to note. I mean, so setup wise, I mean, if a client is going to be, you made it very clear you are very adaptable to different environments.
Oh yeah.
Um, but generally speaking, is there like an ideal audience size setup? you know do you want to be facing, I mean, there are things that I always say, like not in the sun, we want to have shade, things like that, things that are common that people don't necessarily think about. They're just kind of, they're like, oh, performer, you go here, you do you. Is
Well,
there things that you prefer?
yeah, but ideally it's there's a stage with a curtain, people on raked seating. There's a sound man, a light man, a spotlight operator, someone taking the box office. That's ideally, and someone else is promoting it, so I can just show up. Now,
Yeah.
in the reality of what you're asking, um, I, I I like to have everyone to be able to see my full body. So when heads are blocking other heads,
Hmm.
from here down, from here down. Oh, this is my artwork, by the way. It's a cute little doggy.
Oh, cool. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm also a visual artist, and I do caricature.
Yes.
I don't know if I told you about that, but I do caricature
You
gigs.
mentioned that last
Okay.
time I saw you, we were at the Circus House. You mentioned that you
Yeah.
do
Okay.
characters. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think ideally it's like if there's a dance floor and people are around it. Oh, here's another thing is if people are having dinner,
Mm,
um, I don't want to be performing when people are clinking and ch choking on their food and if I'm funny, I don't want people to die for it. So,
they don't
uh,
that, but they're isn't that classic line "dying of laughter"? Come on, isn't
oh
that what
yeah,
you? Then that's
but
what you always want.
not dying on the foie gras, aspirating. Um, so I prefer a live audience than a dead one. So
That's a good one. Yeah.
and I perform for both. Um, I killed at a funeral once.
Yeah. Hopefully
Very
not.
dear.
Hopefully it was already past that point.
No, it was a very dear friend who died suddenly, and the everyone was really sad, and I came in and she. I'm sorry she wasn't there to see the performance because she would have loved it because it
Mm.
was in her honor, but I dissed her a little bit.
Ah, jeez. So you've literally performed in every type of environment,
I, pretty
every
much,
type of event.
pretty
It's
much.
usually the go-to line that everybody says is "I've done everything but a funeral." So you've done everything, including a funeral.
Yeah.
uh,
Um, but going back to ideal is just r really what I want is a room where people aren't doing other things.
sure.
Um,
Do you need space
so
requirements? Like how big of a floor space are you thinking, or how ceiling wise, like stuff like that? Is there like restrictions that you need? I mean, as a juggler,
I've
yeah,
I've
I mean,
done
you got
it
to move your
with
arms.
I've done a juggling show with a 7 foot ceiling.
Wow, that's it.
I
That is very impressive.
It was in a basement on a New Year's gig. I have done
You literally, if you wear a hat, you were probably your head was touching the ceiling.
yeah, exactly. I just kept everything low and
Mhm.
it worked out. I've done a show standing on a 55-gallon drum.
Okay. All right. And that's
And
just so people could see you, I assume.
yeah, it was a small space. People could get close, and I'm just
Oh,
like,
wow.
don't stand right in front because something might hit your head. But
Here's a helmet. Here's a helmet. There we're gonna
yeah,
go.
and I yeah, so yeah, I am very adaptable. But ideally, I have like maybe a 10 by 10 space.
Hmm.
A little bigger is better, but yeah, I can. Uh, Yeah, again, I can adapt to pretty much anything. 12-foot ceilings are nice, 10-foot ceilings are okay, 7-foot ceilings are a little
Difficult.
dodgy but doable. Um, you know,
If it's a 5 foot ceiling, you have a problem.
I have to put a chiropractor surcharge on that.
Yes, I can imagine.
Oh yeah. No,
uh,
I because sometimes I come out into a gig wearing stilts, and I'm inside a house,
mm.
and so I have to walk through the house like this, and even like 20 steps later, I'm like, oh. Yeah, they say you're only as old as you feel, and tomorrow I'm gonna feel 90.
That's funny. So I mean, we've talked a lot. We've talked for a while. I really appreciate it.
Uh,
I always like to. I mean, there's still stuff that we could dive into more. I mean, you spoke about stilt walking. I mean, just briefly, if you want to talk to people, what is something that if they're hiring a stilt walker, what should they expect? Is it just you on tall pegs and doing, nothing else, or do you like way other people? Like, what is that experience like? Or can you walk anywhere? If you have like certain environments that you can, obviously, short ceilings is somewhere that's difficult, but anything like that should keep in mind.
yeah, I mean, again, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm pretty fearless when it comes to a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
I have fallen, I've fallen off stilts only about 2,000 times, but that was in the circus and that was the act. So I did 3 falls twice a day, 3 times on Saturday. Um, so that added up. But as far as unintentional falls, I think twice to mechanical
Mhm.
failure, and then once I just hit a rut in a field, and that's no way you can
Recover.
plan for that. It's just
Yeah.
something to surprise me. But yeah, after hundreds and hundreds of stilt gigs, probably thousands at this point,
Mhm.
very little phases me. Stairs, hills,
Oh
wind,
wow.
um, rain. I haven't. I don't think I've done snow. I think but yeah, most people don't have outdoors events with stilt walkers during the winter,
Mm,
or not in the snow anyway. But
hmm
I would probably for an event with snow, I would have to play that by ears. Like, are you shovel? Are you salted?
Yeah,
I'm only
yeah,
going to stay in I'm not going on the grassy areas or whatever.
yeah.
But if you're I'm back to your question. I'm circling back. You had asked if people are hiring a stilt walker, what should they think about? What was
Hmm
that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I mean, really talk to the stilt walker. Like
Mhm.
they probably depending on the season, they may have questions that like what. Okay, let's put it this way. You call me for a stilt job, and I'm going to say, is it indoor or outdoor? How high are the ceilings? What's the surface like?
Mm,
Um, how many people are going to be there? Like, are people going to be drinking? Yeah,
mhm.
I mean, drunk people and stilt walkers, that's something I'm gonna want to know before I walk in,
Mhm.
just so I'm mentally prepared.
Mhm.
If I'm at a gig and I find out, oh, they didn't tell me there's gonna be drunks, yeah, I'll adjust, but it's nice to know in advance.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
Can you walk on any? You've mentioned you have walked on any surface, but are you like what's generally an ideal situation? Or what's I guess more so what's one that you really would prefer not to be on surface wise?
um,
An ice skating rink.
freshly mopped tile.
Ooh, that is a really, you know what? That's a good point. I don't think people really wet tile is like an ice skating rink. I don't think people
Yeah,
realize that especially as a still walker. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a real thing.
I mean, ice, of course, is similar, but yeah, I mean, pretty much, like it's for me, it's up to the stilt walker to know and foresee these issues,
Hmm
and it's up to the client to trust the professional.
Yeah.
Like, if I show up and there's something that we did not foresee, and I say I'm not going there for them to assist, it's like, yeah, you can insist, but you know,
I don't want to get
are
hurt.
are you paying my medical bills?
Yeah. Yeah, that's reality. You know, it's unfortunately I think yeah, that's true. You know, people don't necessarily think about what that's not about the capability or not wanting to do the thing. It's a safety reason behind it, which I think is an important note. Okay.
It reminds me of I want to say it was Roger Zopi from Zopi Family Circus. Um, he had a scar on his cheek,
Mm,
and we were asking what that was, and he said I was doing a television spot for the news or whatever, and I had my bear with me, my trained bear,
mm.
and no, it was a photo shoot, and they're like, "Can you get closer to the bear?" He's like, "I'll get a little closer," but after a while, it's no, and they're like, "Oh, just a little closer, get a really nice shot." And he stupidly listened to them, and the bear just not intentionally, but the bear did that, and he got a gash with a claw across his cheek.
Oh wow.
A story for the rest of his life, and it's like, listen to the profession, and like, I think probably he was too young and dumb to like say no, but
Hmm
when we say no, you got to trust that we know better than you do.
Yeah, well, you do this every day, and and people
Yeah,
that are booking this don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
If it's unsafe, we're gonna know before you do.
That's for sure. That's for sure. I love to always ask, as a performer that's worked with Magical Memories for a while, if you're speaking to other performers that may be listening to this right now, what can you kind of share about your experience working with Magical Memories?
An experience working with magical memories.
Maybe just working with us in general. Like how are we as a booking company?
The best ever. No, hands down. I've never worked for a better agency. They hire the best performers, and they treat us well, and they give us only the finest gruel.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks. I'm now wrapping us up. If you're looking back on your career, can you think of an event that you are, or just a situation or something that you are most proud of?
You know, yeah, I was in the hospital as a clown, and this girl had gotten out of, I want to say, some kind of surgery or something, and she couldn't go home until she moved her head like this. And all the doctors and nurses were trying to tell her it's okay, and she had all this anxiety. It's like I think the operation was around here, and they wanted to
Hmm.
make sure that everything got reconnected properly or whatever, and she would not move her head. And she uh they came out to me and my partner. They were like, um we have this problem. If you clowns can do anything to help, can you? And we we came into the room, within, so she could see us straight on, and she let us in the room. Again, it's complicity. She has final say whether or not we enter her room. Her
Hmm.
parents can't say yes. She has to say yes. And so she let us in, and my partner starts talking. I'm like, "Hey, what's that?" And I run to the window. Oh my God, there's an elephant! And then he joined me. Oh, flying! And or no, he doesn't join me right away. I like come back. Doctor Boots, you got to come see that. So I'm running back and forth across the room, and she's like doing this the whole time. And we got her to go home.
Wow, that is magical. That's amazing. Uh, wow, that's a great story. I love that.
Yeah.
And now looking to future, you have over the next year, is there anything that you're most looking forward to?
Well, I mean, the big thing right now is I am preparing in August. I will be traveling to Edmonton, Canada for the Edmonton Fringe Festival to perform God the One Man Show. I create the universe in 75 minutes or your money back. But but I the show has become bloated, and I don't want to. I need to squeeze it down to 60 minutes. And also I haven't done the show since before COVID, so I'm having to rewrite some parts, like the jokes about Kim Kardashian kind of fall flat now.
Mm,
Um,
gotcha. You got to make it
so
more, 2026 versus
yeah, there
2019.
there was a Stephen Hawking joke that was really in poor taste before he died, and now he's dead, and so it's even worse. So I have to take that out, and yeah, I just rearrange some things. God actually, of course, has an opinion on Stephen Hawking. Um, but so yeah, I'm looking forward to the rewriting process. I will be doing a short run in New York City to prep for, probably in June, to prep for going to August in Edmonton, and that's
Mhm.
in preparation for next year. I plan to do Edinburgh Festival with it, and
Amazing.
so this is not only a dry run of the shorter, like God's greatest hits, and I want to fit everything into a suitcase that I can fly, so I don't have to
Mhm.
carry extra cases. And the show fits in two tubs now, and I have to fit it down
Mhm.
to one suitcase.
Mhm.
I mean, theoretically, I could do two suitcases and just pay the overage, but it's a challenge to kind of downsize, and
Mhm.
I think I can do it. But it's just a matter of like I have to rewrite the show, and then I have to rebuild some props, and then I have to like miniaturize some things, figure out what
Mhm.
I can buy once I get there, and
Mhm.
just that sort of stuff. So it's a big project, and in the meantime, I'm working on my visual art. I'm like I'm there are a couple of designs that I came up with recently that I can add to my t-shirt store on Etsy.
Mhm.
So I'm excited about that, and I'm also uh, I didn't even mention Clown Cabaret. That's another rabbit hole. I produced a show down in Washington, D.C. for 10 years before coming up
Mhm.
here, but now new producers are down there, and I go down to visit every now and then.
Mhm.
Um, and so I'm preparing for like a new 10-minute piece for that, and I have to build that. So like there's all like through the winter I get seasonal affected, like the
Mhm.
and now the new year has happened, and all these things are about, if I'm not on top of them, then I fall behind, and that's exciting to me. So I'm actually having to put down my phone and actually engage with real life again.
Mhm. That's a tough thing to do.
It's I mean it's a mainline thing. I I think it is a problem, and I am an example of that problem. That phone addiction is, uh, it's rampant, and I'm thankfully I never got addicted to anything else. But
Yeah.
this free dopamine in my pocket, and
Yeah.
it's legal.
You know what? The good thing is I feel like what you do for a living though is what helps people combat that.
Yeah. Oh
So,
yeah.
so I think
I'm
that's a
always
really
happier when I'm doing that and not my phone. But
yeah.
it's so much easier to pick this up
Yeah.
than to actually build an audience.
That's unfortunately true.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, final thing. Is there any last piece of well, first actually two more things. One thing, what's a fun fact about yourself that people generally don't know? I learned one when we were on the before we got into this.
Well, I don't know what people know, but so I don't know what they don't know. I bake killer bread,
Yeah,
and I
there you
make
go.
great guacamole too.
That's good. It's a fun fact. Okay, last thing. As we wrap up, is there one last thing, piece of advice, something that you'd like to leave people with before we wrap it?
Um, yeah. As a reformed late person, if you struggle with time, you can do it. You, being on time is one of the most important things to do in this business, and you'll learn it when you probably after you need to learn it. But yeah, it is possible even for the chronically late. I'm chronically late for most things in life, but when it's a gig and the money's on the line, I have to make that a priority, and I recommend that for anyone who struggles with it. Make sure you plan to be there an hour early.
Yep. And it's great that you have that as your new North Star because I think it is very important to be places early. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for joining us. Rich, thank you so much for taking the opportunity to be on here. I really, really appreciate it. This was really an amazing conversation. I really enjoyed hearing about your history, your story. I'm sure there's so many more stories that you could share, and if the opportunity arises again, we can dive into some of that stuff. But I do appreciate you jumping on, being a part of this. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're Magical Memories Entertainment. This is Magical Memories Unlocked. If you want Rich and any of his skills and any of his hats to be coming to your next event, make sure you reach out to us. Once again, this is Magical Memories the Magical Memories Unlocked, your guide to event success, is our entertainer deep dive. Make sure you like, share, all the fun stuff there, and we will see you at the next one. Have a good day, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Magical Memories Unlocked. This guide to event success is so helpful, some are shocked. Planning something big, we're here for you with ideas and tips to make your vision come true. Magical Memories Entertainment is the team to make all your